Well, that was interesting. Well, that was interesting.
That was
Hey,
pretty
what's up,
cool.
everybody? I think I just threw that together not too long ago. I was like, oh, well, that's something to play. And then I realized there at the end, I remember why I never played it again because I didn't actually finish it. And it like went too long. I was like, oh, well, what the hell? It's Friday night, right?
There you go.
I loved it.
What do you think, LW? What you up to, brother?
Oh, not much, man. How are you guys doing tonight on this wonderful Friday evening?
Ladies first, Gutters.
I'm doing
good.
wonderful.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Yeah, y'all had a fun trivia night earlier. That was fun. Thanks for letting me join in on that.
Yes.
That was a good time. Really fun.
Yeah. I'm glad you were there.
LW, what have you been doing? You've been eating steak and drinking beer? Is that what I hear?
Well, it's my big sis 50th birthday party today. So we went to a steakhouse, had a big, nice steak, some wine. It was good times.
Was it one of those Brazilian steakhouses or just a regular steakhouse?
It was just a regular steakhouse, a little mixture of things, but it's really good. Really good.
That's cool. Have y'all ever eaten at the Brazilian steakhouse?
Oh, yeah.
I've never done that. Gutters,
I
you?
have.
Oh, man. I feel like the loser here.
Actually, it wasn't it wasn't the Brazilian. It's called the Foto de Chao or whatever. Brazil. Well, I guess it is called the Brazilian Steakhouse. So, I mean, but I thought there was one called the Brazilian. Sorry, steakhouse.
No, that's something else. The Brazilian's something else, Gutters.
Okay. See? Well, oh, I know what you meant. I didn't realize that's what you were talking about. I thought you meant really the Brazilian Steakhouse. There is one.
Mm-hmm.
There is.
Yeah, I've
really
never
one.
been to that one either. Never.
Wow,
Never been
there
to
you
none
go.
of them. I'm not fancy. Hey, what's up, everybody out there that is tuning in? Thanks for coming in here on a Friday night. We're just going live for a few minutes here just to talk about a few fun topics that we thought would be interesting to discuss, and then maybe to have a little laughs and stuff like that. What's up, BB, Matt Dummett, Daniel Berry, Scott? What's up, Controversial Cruising? Good to see you, man. RJ or 9J. I always like that. I always want to say RJ, but it's 9J. We got Nightbot in there. Harley Dad's in here. What's up, Harley Dad? We're gonna pop over and see you here in a few. Bud Files in here as well. Randy Foster, P Digits, SO. Good to see all you guys. Connor Stallions, another one. Hey, it was fun. I got to meet Connor Stallions. He was a nice guy. He's a pretty cool guy. Did anybody watch? Yeah, he went to Hogfest. He went up there to the Hogfest. He lived.
Nice.
He lived close enough. He was able to find it.
Nice.
Good job, Connor.
Oh, geez. There's Mel too. What's up, Mel? Good to see you, brother. Yeah. So, did anybody watch the Olympics opening ceremony? That was interesting. Anybody get a chance to see that?
Well, I opened my Twitter earlier today, and I didn't know what I was looking at, and then I saw it was the Olympics. I was like, wow, I've never seen an Olympic quite like that. I didn't realize that I was watching the Olympic ceremonies.
I did because I think Oilers posted it. I think that's the only reason I watched it.
Did he? Okay, I saw it.
Didn't he?
I like all the dancing and stuff, and
You see I saw a picture where one of the guys in the background, his balls were hanging out of his shorts.
Did you not see this?
Where is that at?
Oh my God! What's up, Marjorie? Good to see you. Oh wow, it was interesting, but definitely an interesting opening show for an Olympics. I mean, I'm all about watching it, whatever, anything like that. I don't really care, but it was an odd Olympic opening. I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah, it seemed the part I seen was odd, but maybe I didn't see the whole thing. Obviously. Now I'm very curious. Can we hurry up and finish this live? Because I need to go see something.
Well, from what LW telling me, I didn't see the whole thing either at this point. So not exactly sure.
I didn't mean to distract you with the ball talk.
I know. Now you're talking about balls, just got my whole mind thrown off.
It's like squirrel.
The Gutter's not even going to make 10 minutes of this show.
Nuts.
Nuts.
I don't know. I don't know if it's your style there, Gutters. I think he's putting from the off.
Oh, I see. Got it. Okay. Well, I know, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, definitely interesting. It was odd. Definitely a little bit odd. What's up, Oilers? Good to see you in here. Yeah.
Hey,
So what
Oilers.
else on this week? Any other interesting stuff y'all seen? Anything in the news you've seen interesting or anything like that?
I watched Benny Johnson. I don't know if you watch him, but he sure found out lots of information out about the assassination. That some of the stuff we'd already knew, but he just kind of reassured it. And then there was a lot of other things that came into play, like the fact that the Secret Service agents, like the ones that couldn't find their holsters and things like that, they were not hired, were not Secret Service agents. They were DHS agents.
I thought they were Walmart checkers.
Well, that's probably where they came from. And these DHS agents came from, they've been back at a desk for, the last 10 years. And now they just pulled them out to go, oh, you're going to go play Secret Service for Trump's rally.
Oh, wow.
So lots of, and different buildings that weren't covered that should have been covered and all kinds of shit. It's amazing what that little Benny found. I don't know if you
he's
guys
good.
watch
He's
him,
good
but
for
he's
finding
pretty
stuff.
good.
Yeah. I've always tuned into Benny Johnson stuff.
I
Hey,
mean,
holy moly! Good to
the
see you.
sloped roof thing is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. I mean,
Well,
did you see the roof?
okay, which part?
I've been on way worse roofs than that. So, you know what I mean?
Right, and
so you've done roof work before, right?
Unfortunately, yes, I have.
Yeah, me too.
So what has been pointed out is that some people believe that that it wasn't that person that actually shot him, that it was somebody else, but he did have a gun up there and was in the process of it, because they said he was too far down on the pitch of the roof. And so no matter how, even if that pitch isn't that much, if you're laying down and you're clear down at the bottom side of it where he actually was, trying to shoot straight across to where Trump was at, you wouldn't have been able to, because you would have automatically been shooting up, because that's the pitch of the roof was going up and you're at the bottom of the roof. He wasn't at the peak of the roof where they've tried to make it look like he's been. So I'm not exactly sure. They just showed some other angles. It was on Twitter is where I seen it. So who knows if that's true, but
right. You got to believe everything you see on the internet, but
that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
But it does make you stop and
yeah.
Right. It does make you stop and think. Like one of the things Benny says was it's quite amazing that where that guy got on the roof at, there was supposed to have been somebody right behind that building looking out through those windows, and all those guys that was at that post just happened to go on break right then, like right when all that shit went down. Like usually when something like, there is no smoke break really for them, when they go there to do something like that, they're in it, like from the time they get there until they leave. There is no, we're going to take a break with our buddies out behind the barn. You watch, the president here.
So. Hey, Marjorie, we appreciate you becoming a member of the channel over here. Thanks so much, Marjorie. As always, lovely to have you here. Thank you so much. Oh, and speaking of, let me say this real quick to anybody over on the X side that is listening. We appreciate having you here as well. We are live on YouTube and live on X. So, yeah, good to have you over here too. I'll drop a link over there in X with the link to the YouTube underneath the video. I forget how you explain that, but if anybody does ever want to come in and comment or speak your mind or anything like that, you're more than welcome to in the YouTube comments right over here. We will be able to see them. But thanks everybody for being here. And thank you, Marjorie. So what do you think about all that, LW?
Well, I've seen a lot of people say, going after the conspiracy theorist, and there are a bunch of conspiracy theorists who just make shit up, just love doing it, and saying crazy stuff that doesn't make sense. But I think people like us, we don't want it to be a conspiracy, but it looks like a conspiracy.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't think we want to have people inside the government trying to off a former president of the United States.
No.
But if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, I mean, good Lord. And this notion that, oh yeah, so they wanted to do it, so they got some idiot 20-year-old kid. But if you look at history throughout different countries, CIA and Mossad, just all these different, how they do stuff like this. Just what they did, what was it, fools, the Michigan governor with the kidnapping plot?
Oh, yeah, that was one whole ridiculous load of crap right there as well.
There's like 3 or 4 guys. I think 2 of them were homeless, and it was like 8 feds who became friends with them and talked them. They didn't even have this idea themselves. The feds talked them into this, and I think 2 or 3 of them got off, or 2 of them got off for entrapment. But it's not that hard to fathom that, especially a guy that they're saying for 8 years is literally Hitler. You know what I mean? So if they think he's literally Hitler, why is it beyond belief that they would want to take him out? But how is that very hard to go online and find some kid like this who's saying crazy shit and kind of egg him on a little bit, and who knows? He's dead, so you don't know.
Right. There's no way of ever knowing anything about anything that went on. So
right. And then to have, okay, well, that kid's we got him to do that, and we'll have shitty security that day and see what happens. You know what I mean? It's not that crazy. It's happened throughout history a lot.
Well, and just way too many things are coming up. I mean, like the other thing Benny pointed out was they let everybody in with coolers and all of that shit, lawn chairs, you name it. I mean, they were all sitting alongside the fence. There was no security along that side of the fence. That just weird shit that, doesn't make sense when you think about a parameter that they would try to keep secure for somebody that's in the middle of the parameter. You would have thought that would have been things that they would have done. So just as you go through everything and start to look at it, it's really hard not to think of it like, the shit was planned out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's something that doesn't. Yeah, you see a million different conspiracy theories. I mean, like even the night it happened, we had our friend on here that was there, and we talked to him, and he told us about personally being there, and even he was like, this doesn't really make sense that night. And then the more you see the fact that I don't know, the whole thing stinks of. It either stinks of what we were just talking about, or it stinks of just total malfeasance. I mean, just an absolute. Clusterfuck, basically, for less words. Just that you had a bunch of people who had no idea what they were doing. Either that, or you have 2 options. Pick one. Pick one of the 2 options. That's the way I look at it.
But we've all seen documentaries on past assassinations, and we've seen interviews with Secret Service, on cable TV and movies and stuff like this. Your basic just individual American knows enough by now what you would cover in a situation like that, and they did none of it. You know what I mean?
Right. So, that's what I'm saying. You can either look at it from the sense of something's rotten in Denmark, or you can look at it from the sense of it was a bunch of Walmart checkers they hired. So you pick. I'm not telling anybody out there in the world how to think about a topic, but those are the 2 options that make sense. So.
Well, and I guess you could almost look at it either way, except for the fact that now we're how many days into it, and have you heard any news? I mean, show me where like there's There's hardly, and has the FBI come up and talked? Have any of that? I mean, it not until Congress or whoever it is had their little oversight committee had their conversations with them. Has anything been discussed about? I mean, they should have. All of this shit should have already been talked about through press conferences and all of that, and none of that shit was done. None of it. Through all of this, they've just like everything was just kind of shh. Wait, we'll see.
Well,
So
it
that
seems
seems
like
weird to me.
Well, it seems like as with anything else, it's just at this point, it's like, oh, that's yesterday news. We're moving on to the next flashy news topic, and we'll just forget about that one and move right along and see what the next crazy thing comes up that we can lie to you about.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe younger people are so desensitized to the world these days, but I was just kind of shocked at like it just wasn't that big of a deal. Like, you know, oh, wow, president running for office again. We just saw people shoot at him. Somebody shoot at him and hit his ear on live TV. We're like, crazy times, huh?
And they're doing this.
Like, what?
And they're doing
everybody's
this.
just filming it. Well, I mean, it goes to
Whoa,
show you.
shit, there was a shot.
And when half the people were like, well, it doesn't matter because it didn't hit them, or something like that. And it's like, what? No matter what. It happened. I mean, and we should have known better when they came out and it released to the world that there was UFOs and everybody went,
Right. That's exactly my point. Like, it's just, everything is so whacked out. It's just like, I think Jim Brewer had a good bit about that. Like, hey, there's aliens, and everybody's like, give me something. Right. Give me something good.
Yeah, we need Bigfoot at this point. I mean, this whole alien thing is, we're past that already. That guy you sent me that clip to, LW, you sent me that clip to that guy. I'd never even heard of him. Who was that?
Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz. I'd never even heard of that guy, which is surprising. I'm usually pretty up to date. That dude was funny, man.
Man, that was 3 minutes of just solid jokes, like one after the other.
It was hilarious. What did he call that guy that the gunman or whatever? What did he call him?
He called him Herpy Potter.
Herpy Potter, because having sore on his lip.
He looked like the sloth from Ice Age or whatever.
I was laughing my ass off. It was funny, good stuff.
He called Gutters. He called Kamala Harris Warhawk Tua.
Yeah, the guy was pretty funny. Man. Pretty funny. You'll have to send Gutters that link. It was pretty funny.
No doubt.
I would play it up here, but I'm scared. YouTube can be a bit judgmental.
YouTube gods will rain down.
I found out.
I think it's on his YouTube channel, but I don't think you would get copyright if you played the Twitter version.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna stay away from it for now. We'll see. I tread lightly over here on these streets. The Twitter's a little more open over there, so
yeah.
You can say X. Sorry, X. I love the fight. What do you like to call it? Twitter or X?
I still call it Twitter. I don't think I've ever called it X.
I know. I think I still call it Twitter too. I don't think maybe I do. I don't think so, though. I think I call it Twitter.
I'm like 50-50. It depends on if I like, if I'm talking to X people, I guess I call it X. If I'm talking to, just people who aren't there, then just Twitter comes to mind. But
I'll tell Gutters one more. He said in that thing, Gutters, he said about Kamala running for president. He said, "Move over, RFK Jr. We got a new throat goat."
I wondered what throat goat was about when I seen that. So I think it was on a meme or something. Somebody had wrote throat goat, and I wondered what that was about. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a good joke. It's making fun of both of them on the same joke.
Exactly.
Well, I saw earlier where the Hawk Tua girl got her picture made with RFK.
Oh yeah,
which I thought was really funny. So I don't know. I wondered which one of them asked for the photo op.
Right. Right.
Was it the guy running for president asking to honk to a girl for the photo op, or vice versa? So,
I hope she doesn't end up in a river in a car.
Don't go for a ride with him. Do not go for a ride with him.
Right.
What's up, Megan? Good to see you here.
No doubt. Hey, Megan. Status quo.
Yep. Yeah, we do got status quo in
Andy.
here as well. Look at that. Good to see all you guys. Good to see all you guys. This is basically this, kind of like a Seinfeld episode. We don't really have a point to this, but we're having fun regardless. So we'll see what happens.
We're just here to see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly. That's a scary thought. So what did you think about with whole Biden stepping down and Kamala stepping up? I mean, and did anybody see that coming?
Yes.
Well, I didn't see it coming. I just heard Biden tell us it a while back that this was kind of his plan. Okay, and actually it was on some interview he did or something, and it said something to the effect of, well, if I have to, this would mean I would just, I'm sure I would come up with some illness, and then she could step up into the president's role. Oh, well.
And here's
That
another
worked out quite smooth.
here's another thing that doesn't help the people that hate conspiracies. Well, when you look at the timeline of, it was a big push for a few weeks after the debate to get Biden to drop out. And he was like, basically, fuck y'all, I'm running. He did a speech like, we're doing this thing. I'm going for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody settled down. Then somebody tried to shoot Trump. He lived. Then they went right back to, hey, come on, Joe. It just seems a little strange.
After he was gone for like a week, what was it, like 6 days? He disappears, and
Right.
Then, and then it's like all this happens at once, and then it comes back, and it's like, okay, we just hit the reset button, guys. Everybody get back in line. None of that really happened. All that's just fake. Now everybody get back in line.
And then Joe comes back talking like he's, on, I don't know, 0.15 on the speed playback. I mean, he's talking way faster. It's like, how the fuck did he do that? How did he, man?
We can talk about camera angles all we want, but he grew a couple inches as well, which I thought was quite interesting. So
I think all that is crazy to me, but
yeah, exactly. That's another deep dive for another day. But yeah, but that's the funny thing. They just come back and tell you you're basically just supposed to move on. There's no we just totally reset you. We gave you no news. We gave nobody nothing, and now everything's different now. It's just a total new day. Yes. Go on.
Yep.
Next, they'll be telling us none of it happened. And that what's his name? That Sinbad did not do a genie movie. I'm still waiting on him to explain that one to me, but we'll find out.
Right.
Wanda E. Holy moly. P digits. Joe. Dang.
I know. Who else did I see in here? We got a couple. Yeah, Wanda came in here. Good to see you, Wanda. Just Joe. Yeah, we're in here. We're talking about all kinds of nonsense about stuff that we may or may not believe. So,
all right.
Hey, Robert, how you doing? I guess I said that right. Robert Burpnum. Good to see you.
My views in no way reflect the views of this channel. I want to say that.
Neither do mine, and it's my channel. I'm opting out. Secondly, so
hell, I'm in there somewhere. I'm riding with those guys.
Gutters is like, I mean every fucking word I say.
That's right.
Yeah, then we have Gutters. And thanks for being here, Gutters. Grand opening, grand closing, guys. We'll jump right on.
We're gonna burn this bitch to the ground.
Yeah, and now you see what gets me too is now you see the polling, which is really funny because it's like there's two opposite spectrums in polling going on right now, which I don't believe any of the polling to start with. I think all that polling is just a bunch of BS. But you have some that like shows one candidate like so far away from the other, and then the opposite poll shows like the total opposite. And like I saw one and it showed like Trump was leading like by 30 points or something by what was it?
Mhm.
People 18 to 24 or 18 to 30 or something, don't quote me on the numbers, but it was somewhere in there. And then it was another one to where it was completely opposite. And what Kamala, or however you're supposed to say, that she was leading people 65 and over by like the same margin. And I was like, well, wait a minute, this can't be right. And I saw it on like many outlets, so it wasn't like just one messed up.
Mhm.
Well, I've done this. I've asked people my whole life, on election season, whenever it pops up to ask. I've never known a soul. Maybe you two guys have been polled. I've never known a soul to be polled ever.
No, Lord, no.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, does anybody like who? Okay, let's start with this. Who actually, if your phone rings and it's some weird number, who answers it?
Not
No
I.
doubt. Nope.
The only people who could
I
possibly
barely answer the ones I know.
No.
Right.
And your phone doesn't ring, and it's not going to come up as like, Quinnipiac polling or whatever the hell it's called. It's not
Right,
going to come up
right.
like saying this name. It's going to come up with some weird number, probably say probable spam. I mean, that's what half that thing would probably
Mhm.
say. Nobody's going to answer that to start with. So
Mm-mm.
who are they polling? Who are these people that are? It's probably the same people that wore masks around for all these years that are just so happy their phone's ringing that they're going to answer it. So.
And even if you did answer the phone, somebody starts asking you what race you are and how old you are. You're like, get out of here. Hang up,
No
click.
doubt. What the fuck is it?
What's your
There's identity
mother's maiden
theft.
name and your first
No.
pet?
Right.
Where'd you go to elementary school? Wait a minute now, this isn't right.
How
You
am I
probably-
supposed to really know that you're from Reuters? You know what I mean? Like, fuck off.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that's not. Well, I remember in 2016, I remember seeing a poll that I still remember because it made me laugh. It was, I think it was Reuters. I don't know, some poll. But the big headline of the story was new poll, Hillary 60%, Trump 40%. And then I read the article, and way at the bottom, like below the ads in little small print, it says 600 Democrats polled and 400 Republicans polled. Oh,
It's
and
always
the number was 60-40, the exact breakdown of who you asked.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that with the polls too. Like if they just post a poll and it's just a picture, you normally, if they're legitimate, they'll give you the little, the link you can go to see the actual breakdown of the poll and how it was conducted, and you can get those numbers. But no, I mean, we live in a day and age to where it's all just clickbait. People throw stuff in front of your face and people go, and they just sit there and watch it, with absolute no sense. But they don't read the article, like they'll just go for the headline. And
Right.
it's always like that. It's always more Democrats, and the number of independents is polled a little bit higher normally as well than what it should be. And that's normally where they get this. And if you don't believe me, go read the polls. Go look at the actual data. And it's normal. Like you just said, you looked at one and that's how it was.
Right. And I would expect a bump, a little bit of a bump for Kamala, because there's going to be people who don't vote at all and don't pay attention to politics, especially young women and stuff like that, who are just going to go, I'm voting for the first woman, and they have no idea about anything that's going on. It's just, she's the first woman, so I want to vote for her. You're going to have people like that vote for the first time. You're going to have, it's really the middle of the road people that decide elections. That's really what it is.
Yeah, 100%. Hey,
Yeah.
Mr. Duggar, how you doing tonight, brother?
What's up there, fellas? And
Mr. Duggar.
gutters.
Uh-oh. Don't just come in here and start flirting with gutters now. Come on now.
That is my job, goddammit.
As long as he's not flirting with me, we're good.
Yeah, back off LW.
I ain't got no word there, LW. You know that, man.
We would leave you out.
You my boy, not my boy.
What you been up to tonight, Mr. Duggar?
Dude, I have been pillaging villages and taking it to the 14 years old on Rust.
Are you still playing Rust?
Dude, that is a fun fucking game.
I've never played Rust.
Well, I mean, if you get into it like I do, and I mean, I get all serious about it. I'm wanting them to raid me. That's the fun part, getting raided.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to.
Trying to defend it. You're trying to build a base that you can defend people against. So I had to knock down a couple things and kind of, so right now this is getting late in the wipe, and I'm going in there and starting shit everywhere. I'll just walk around with a rocket and shoot somebody in the face to see if they're home.
Well, if you have a really sloped roof in that game, just hide all your stuff up there. Nobody will go up there.
Dude, that was the point. They should have went over there and put handcuffs on her, put a gag ball in her mouth so she couldn't lie anymore, and took her off to jail.
Is that what they use gag balls for? I didn't think. Sorry.
Hey, let me say, hey, Multi, good to see you, Multi. Blister Bill's in here as well. Who else I see? Sergeant Tom. How you doing, Sergeant Tom? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. So, Duggar, yeah, we were talking. Did you watch any of the Olympic opening show earlier, Duggar? I think you would have liked it.
No, I'm anti-Olympic right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't want you to break anything, so I wouldn't watch it if I was you.
No, I'm sure they're bringing out all the fags.
Well, they have those. They have that.
So much for backstage LW.
Yeah, he was talking about bringing out the bag full of medals, all the bags. So yeah, they're always going to bring out all those.
Cigarettes, man. You know what I mean?
Right, all the bags full of medals. They're getting ready to hand them out, Mr. Duggar.
And you were just worried, huh?
I know it.
You were just worried, huh?
Bags full of medals. Oh, sweet Jesus! Yeah, we'll be playing here all for the next 2 minutes, and would say all night, but probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. Yeah, I think things are going to get though. I do foresee things getting pretty crazy. I mean, from what we've already seen in this election cycle, I would say that. There's always the October. I'm waiting on the October surprise. I mean, the October surprise is going to obviously be something that's
what haven't
ridiculous.
You heard about? What haven't you been hearing about? Any of Trump's court cases?
Well, they basically, like I was saying earlier before you got here, they basically, tried to off him, and then Biden went missing for 6 days, and then everything just reset, and they came out there and just acted like, well, we're not. There was nothing in the news, nothing at all, and they just went up, reset, look away, and moving on to the next topic.
That didn't even look like Biden. They showed his signature where he signed off on that letter. That wasn't his signature.
What's up, Canadian Unfiltered? Good to see you. Yeah, I don't know. Like we're trying to stay a little bit away from the conspiracy end tonight, but I do agree. Yeah, it's nothing adds up. Nothing. We'll do a whole nother show when we get all our ducks in a row.
Did you watch Benny Johnson's?
No, you should say that, Mr. Duggar.
SEALs and an ex-sniper over there. They're on YouTube.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier.
I watched it.
Yeah. They didn't fall off.
No, I mean, you could have held a whole goddamn circus up there. I think an elephant could have walked along while juggling with jugglers on his back and done all kinds of stuff there. I'm pretty sure that wasn't like some crazy pitch.
I don't have time for crazy except for my own either, Multi.
I've been in some houses where the floor wasn't that level. Trying to remodel it. I would have loved the pitch on that floor to have been straighter than that roof. But, we'll see. I'm not a trained professional, so, Yeah,
it's just like you said earlier. Hopefully it's just mass incompetence. But it's still.
There's no way it can
be. Hey, just work with me here, man. Just
Mr. Duggar, we're just saying you missed it. There's two options it can be. So we're leaving it up to the people to decide. Mass incompetence is one option. The other option is
I
what
got
we
a
all
third
know
one.
it is.
I got a third.
No. There's only two. Don't say it.
Party. They all got high. He just messed it up. It was. Well, I guess that would go with the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's two options. So it can be just total incompetence. Like I said, they had to hire Walmart checkers at the last minute to do security, or, there's the other option. But,
But I was just going to say, it's just humorous to think about when you just run things through your head and try to use some logic behind it. You're just picturing this kid. He parks his van not too far away in a small little area, pretty much. And first he walks his ladder out there across the field. Everybody sees it,
No, he takes his drone and
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't know which one of those happened first, but yeah, there was a ladder
It's
incident.
flying overhead.
he needed to know where to put the ladder, so I just put the drone ahead of the ladder.
But yeah, just that whole scene.
Well,
of this
wait,
guy
there's a rangefinder.
right.
And
Right, don't forget about going through the gate and they shoot him away with a.
Yeah, he tried to come in and they turned him away because he was acting all agitated and shit. What?
Yeah. I mean, you're going through the thing. They're like, well, he has a rangefinder. They're like, well, but what could there possibly go wrong with that? I mean, he's probably just got it because he forgot to leave it in his car or something. Like, you don't just carry those around to a social event. I mean, it's not one of those, what do they call those things at the opera where, they hold that little thing over their eye and look out? What do you call those?
Monocle?
Well,
yeah, it's not a monocle though, but it's, you know what I mean?
One
Yeah.
of the things,
opera glasses.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the things that Benny also found out was that he actually had went he goes to the same range as the
Service.
DHS agents and Secret Service agents. He goes to the same range that they practice at.
I mean, the kid looked like the biggest nerd I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, I can't imagine. I don't understand any of it. It doesn't.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Like, who did they see this guy and they're, hey, look at this guy. He looks like every school shooter ever. With a ladder trying to get on the roof. You think he's up to anything?
That and they crawling with that. An
Remember,
AR.
they've also got the cameras where he's pacing, the film where he's pacing.
Yeah.
And he's pacing back and forth down below the building. Like, I mean, nothing like trying to get everybody's attention. Like, come here.
Well, that and you had these
video.
random. There's like 5 minutes of random people, like this old woman, sitting up there. It's like, there's a guy on the roof. There's a guy on the roof right over here. Look, he's right here. And they're all yelling at him, and there's all these people, there's one guy walking his little daughter by, and they're like looking up there at this guy on the roof, and there's a lady yelling, there's a guy on the roof. Yeah. They're like, over here, man, look. And yet people, it's like,
I can simplify it for the rednecks. Say your feeder was where Trump's stage was at. The optimum place to shoot a hog from was the top of that roof. Yeah. But yet they didn't have nobody up there checking for hunters.
Exactly. Good to see Nebraska. Holly makes a good point. Or holy moly.
Holy moly.
Yeah, maybe that's normal Pennsylvania behavior.
Maybe it is. Maybe people like to watch speeches on top of roofs with guns.
I used to spend some time in Pennsylvania, and it, there was some crazy people I met there.
That is funny though. How
all Steeler fans are wacko to begin with.
How the hillbilly accent is not just a Southern thing, because you did hear some Pennsylvania people up there.
Well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's Pennsylvania's all around. It's you'll meet all kinds of people depending on what area of Pennsylvania you go to. And not a bad place, a lot of beautiful places, but a lot of closed down places, which is kind of sad. Hey, Big Dog Ma, good to see you. And the Island Boy Travels, good to see you in here as well.
Island Boy.
He's over there in the Bahamas. living it up in the Bahamas. That's where he lives. Good for him.
Roger that. Could you
So
imagine-
LW, what do you think? I mean, what's your consensus on the whole thing?
On
I'm gonna let you hold the fort down for a minute. I'm gonna grab a beverage.
Okay.
see if we can burn this bitch down. while
Yeah,
it's-
shut up, Doug.
All right. Here we go, Gutter or Duggar. It's our time now, sir.
Ready.
Here we come. Give them both barrels, bubs.
I mean, none of it's far. None of it is unexpected to me. When you watch this stuff long enough and keep up with it, yeah, you can kind of see their moves coming ahead of time. Like, you know, they always wanted Kamala in 2020, but you know, she couldn't.
She was too stupid to be president then.
They really pushed
That's
hard
why
for her.
She's stupid
They-
to be president now.
Yeah, they really pushed hard for her, and
Nobody wanted her.
everybody rejected her in the primaries in 2020. So, hey, Joe, and there's a bunch of liberal people who know the backstory of that. Joe didn't want Kamala, but they convinced him to pick her. And
Well, they didn't want Joe either.
Yeah.
You know?
well, they kind of did. Once Kamala didn't take, they knew he was old and going senile. So they pushed her in there, and now she's running for president. Nobody voted for her. So it just they in the long run they get who they want to get. You know, that's my take on it.
Well, they should just start flooding them with lawsuits because what they're doing is illegal, and they're hoping to carry that war chest over there with them by keeping Kamala in there.
Well, it's not illegal. What's up,
Right.
Sunflowers? It's not illegal what they're doing because the way the Democrat Party works is it all goes down to that convention, and the way they elect them is different than the way the Republic. So they really do have the option as long as those people vote for those. It's not a very democratic process. I mean, when you really look at the way that it works. But I mean, that's why they have, what do they call them? Super
Delegates.
super delegates. And so they have the super delegates that can go in there and basically, I mean, they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you look at-
they're allowed to change the rules just like they did in 2020 when Tulsi went up on the debate stage and totally wrecked Kamala. They changed the rules to kick her off the debate. You know
just
what I
like
mean?
Bernie, they kicked Bernie out. You know, Bernie
got robbed two
right. You
elections
know, which
in a row.
I'm not a Bernie fan, but I mean, he did get robbed.
Oh,
if nobody,
thank God
you know.
that commie didn't make it in.
Right. I don't know. Would have been any worse than what we have now, but yeah, not exactly sure. Hey, biggest, good to see you, Troy V. Yeah, the whole thing's just dumb. So they can basically do whatever they want to. They have the ability to change the rules. So it's not illegal, you know, what they're doing, but it is not very democratic, so to speak. A lot of people using the excuse, they're like, well, she was on the ticket that they voted for, so it is okay. And I mean, there is some, I guess you could put a little bit of, well, okay, maybe, but still at the same time, nobody's ever voted for her. Like, even when she was running for president, what did she get, like 1% of the vote or something ridiculous?
She didn't even make it to Iowa, and she dropped.
No.
It's like one of the first ones.
Yeah, maybe she got no votes then because Iowa was the first one. So maybe she didn't get any votes. I don't know. I don't really legitimately know anybody that likes her.
No, she does not come across as genuine at all. And that fucking laugh, Jesus Christ Almighty!
She's absolutely horrible.
I've seen her in a room with her voters or Democrats, and she's on a panel and they ask her a question and she starts it, says a couple words, and then just busts out into this uncomfortable, hysterical laughter. And I've seen it to where nobody else was laughing except her.
Right.
And everybody's
She's
just kind of
always
looking at her like, are you okay?
And what is that dumb saying she always has to where if we or the something tomorrow can be the today or some blah, blah, blah.
You have to unburden what has not been burdened or something like that.
So, some ridiculous nonsense. It's like, what do you do? I watched some thing they put together the other day that was just like endless. And
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Mhm.
She really thought that was going to catch on to be like some sort of like Malcolm X catchphrase or something, you know?
Right, exactly. Remember when she stole the whole story from Martin Luther King
Yeah.
and made it up to be like her own childhood, that she was the girl from Martin Luther King's speech, you know, when she goes, and all I could say was freedom. And she did that whole thing. And that was like a story that Martin Luther King had told back in the day. And then she made it out like she made herself that little girl. She didn't say she was a little girl on Martin Luther King's thing, but she made the story that she was a little girl doing the exact thing that Martin Luther King had said that he saw a little girl do. And she was like, you're so full of shit, lady. Come on now. When she was out marching through the streets and all this nonsense, it's like, just stop lying. She's the most like she's fake. She's totally fake. I can't stand her.
Oh,
Mr. Bill said hawk to it.
I mean, that was one thing that you had to give, like Bernie Sanders. Okay, now I was against everything that Bernie was saying and all that, but the platforms he was always running on, at least he didn't seem like he was lying. You know, he was straight up telling you, like, this is what I plan on doing. And it was like, holy shit, I don't want to do that, but at least he wasn't lying to you. You know, like I'd rather have somebody that doesn't lie to me.
well, that's the thing about these fact checkers too, that, you know, are so one-sided. A lot of these things in the debates and things that Trump says, they count them as lies. But when you really look at some of the things they fact check, he's not. When you have a debate, when you have politics or whatever the debate is, there has to be an understanding of this person's position and this person's position. You know, it has to be clear. And some of the stuff they fact checked is his opinions on things,
Or a joke.
or these or his opinion on taxes or corporate taxes or whatever. But they'll say that it's a false, that he lied because they don't agree with. It's really weird when you read these fact checkers' explanation for the lies. You know, it's just a lot of partisan BS. You know,
or when it's a joke. That's another thing that gets me, when it's like he was clearly joking. He did not mean that like in a factual thing. But another thing that cracks me up, like the other day they came out and said it was like they fact checked him and they said Donald Trump, blah, 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 you know, whatever it was. They said that he falsely accused Kamala Harris of, you know, bailing people out in, what was it, Wisconsin or where the hell was it?
Minnesota,
that they all, you know, rioted up there and stuff like that. And that he falsely accused her of bailing people out. And it was like, well, no, but she did have the big tweet with the link to everybody that could, you know, donate money to bail the people out. So whether, you know, it's like splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, and it becomes the biggest lie known to man, you know.
Right. Hey, what's up, Dante? Good to see you, man. Good to see you here, Dante.
Dante.
So nobody, you know, they don't fact check Joe, the same political fact or whatever the shit, you know. They didn't.
Imagine trying to fact check Joe. The only person I feel more sorry for a fact checker that would actually have to do that is his the hands lady, you know, that does the sign language.
Yeah.
And he's just yelling. She's like, I don't fucking know what he's saying.
Her fingers start getting intertwined with each other.
Tied in a knot.
She just throws her hands up. She's like, I don't know. What did he just say?
That does not make a word.
Right.
She just flicks you off. Walks off the stage. Yeah, she's got to have a rough job. That lady's got to. So who do you think?
Well, I like to watch it when the KJP or whatever the hell her name is, their toilet brush, when she's talking and the woman's doing the sign language and she gets the attitude of KJP. Like as soon as she gets up there, man, she gets all snotty, and it's the brown haired woman, and she cracks me up every time I watch her when she's doing sign language for KJP.
Oh yeah, the sign language is KJP. That's the press secretary, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cola brush.
Yeah, she's got a rough job too. I mean, imagine having to cover for Biden. I mean, that would be weird. It'd be tough.
She just spelt shit off, just like Biden does. I mean, listen to her when she talks. It's like, what the fuck did she just say? I don't think she knows what she just said.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what she's ever talking about. Hey, Joe, I would play that, but I think that'll probably get us, hit with the dang, you know what I'm talking about. I've had so much trouble with YouTube and monetization and all that kind of jazz that I'm just, gradually putting my foot back in the water here. So with being daring and playing other people's stuff. We all know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, Banshee Hunter? Wendell's, good to see you.
Windows.
So what else? What do you think? Anybody got any other like crazy stories? We've talked about the Olympics. We've talked. We have. I know Gunners. I know you have to be excited, but we do have. What would it be, LW? Probably like 30 days from college football season starting off. That's pretty cool.
So excited!
I had Gunners
Thereabouts.
Can't wait.
I just can't wait.
Well, and if Georgia, I think they might get in trouble for having to hold practices at the jail yard if they keep up doing what they're doing, because what have they had, like 24 or 25 arrests in the past like year and a half or something like that?
I know there's this something. I don't know if something's in the water about how they drive down there or what. And this latest thing, I don't know. At some point, you got to take their keys away, and I don't know.
I
get them
guess
some ankle bracelets. I don't know. Something.
It's getting pretty rough down there in Athens, man. I mean, it's going to get pretty bad. Oh, Connor, you're going to be at the Miami, Florida opener. That's awesome. I'd love to be there. Watch all those Florida fans cry. That would be really nice. That'd be really cool. Hey, Fools and Tools, good to see you. Love the name. I'm a fool and I got tools too. So, Mr. Duggar, are you still with us?
I am.
Okay. He's like yelling from the bathroom.
He's just making some popcorn.
Oh, he's
Be
making
right
popcorn.
back.
I got you.
What he's doing? I don't know what he's doing.
I got you. Yeah, I want to pull off something here coming up pretty soon. I'm going to try to get in touch with a bunch of people and start bringing them on to do like some cool interviews with people. I was talking to LW about this the other day. So that should be interesting for all you people out there.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get some fun people on here to interview. It's going to be pretty fun.
We're not fun.
Yes, Multi, I love my mug too. You can still get you one on topqualityshirts.com.
I still got to cash in my $10 gift card Joey gifted me.
I thought you had a couple of them by now.
I think I have one for sure.
I could have sworn you had two. I could have sworn that I sent you one and he sent you one. So
I'll have to check my email. I might get me if you can double them up, I might get me a free coffee cup.
Hey, he's going to get one a keychain. Damn.
You could double them up. You would get you a free coffee cup because it's $19.99.
There you go. It's got to pay a little tax, I guess, but that'd be all right.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
No. That's all included. Shipping, everything's included in the price that you see right there. It's all straight up. The price you see is the price it is to ship everything all over the world, worldwide shipping. That's the cool thing is all the products we have in our collective there. If you order that product from Australia, it's made and shipped in Australia. If you order it, so it's not like you don't have to do it with the international. Yeah, most. I mean, if you're in North Korea, sorry about your luck. We'll send you a grain of rice a year.
Wendell's just got a glass of mine and it came from North Carolina. But
Oh wow.
yeah, so I was surprised too.
Oh well, that's cool.
That would be pretty cool. I think I'm going to try to collect everybody's coffee cup. Just have everybody's. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I have a couple different coffee cups on there.
Big Dog Mall wants to know what happened at the Olympics. Big Dog Mall, really the only way to explain it to you is just go watch the opening ceremonies of the Olympics and then get back to me. You'll see. There's not really a polite way of explaining what the hell happened at the Olympics. but just watch the opening ceremonies. It's pretty interesting, to say the least. I mean, I've been to it's like they made a shady bar, like a late night place in Key West, when you're walking down and you're too drunk and you accidentally go into that bar and you're like, oh man, I already ordered a drink and this is what's going on. And yeah, so you finish your drink and leave. That's kind of what that was like.
That's what's funny to me is just that they're something like that. Who are they playing to? Like, who's thought like this is the theme of the opening ceremony? And people are sitting home with their kids who are into track or whatever, going to watch the opening ceremony and see guys' balls hanging out, and some dude with a beard and a dress twerking in some water, and it's just like what are we going for here?
No, I agree. Who are you going after with this? It's not, and I'm all like, if people want to do that, do it all you want to, but I don't think that the opening ceremony of the Olympics is quite the right place to do that. I mean, if you want to, right. If you want to get drunk on Duval Street in Key West and go in and laugh in one of those bars, that with the drag shows, or what I mean, y'all do what you want to do. It's not my thing, but I'm not really going to hold anybody against doing that. But it's not the opening place for an Olympics.
Right. It's a worldwide event. You would think it was just like, okay, well, we have to, just basic entertainment for, nothing racy, nothing.
Maybe classy. Classy would be a great word to actually. Classy would be a good word to have for the opening entertainment. I kind of wondered what the what are the Muslim countries who participate in that and stuff like that? Like, what do they think of when they're? I mean, do they even participate? Don't really watch the Olympics. Does
they started having meetings? I think once they saw that. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think like Iran doesn't have like a great basketball team. I wouldn't imagine or anything like that. So I don't know if any of these people are actually participating, but I would think that Turkey and a couple countries like that are probably in on it, and that they wouldn't be. That Indonesia, Turkey, I don't know who else. Egypt. Doesn't Egypt compete? Wouldn't they?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like anything else. It never crossed anybody's mind. Hey, you know what? Probably a lot of kids are watching with their parents. We probably maybe tone it down a bit,
Oh, you just found out who they're aiming at.
Right.
Hey, Megan, thanks so much for the $5 super chat there. She says, bet you wouldn't interview me, fools. Megan, I'll interview you anytime. Hell, every time you come on panel, we get to you interview yourself. Megan, appreciate you. Love you. You're welcome up anytime we have an open panel going on or anything like that. You are always welcome here, and we appreciate you. We love you. Thanks so much. And speaking of, here's a great Chinese thank you just for you. Yeah, appreciate you, Megan. Appreciate you. But yeah, I do. Getting back to that topic, I agree with you, LW. I don't know who they actually think that they were. What's the market for that? And I know what you say, Mr. Duggar. That's. I mean, I don't necessarily think that they did that just because because of those two things together. I don't think that they mind that those two things together coexist, but I think that they really it's just this agenda that they have to push and push and push and push, and they don't care what anybody thinks. Did you see the way they reenacted the Last Supper on the top of the stage up there with the people? Did you catch that?
Yeah, and then they had like the pale horse. It's like, well, there was like a theme,
right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just fucking weird.
Right, they basically themed it. Hey, let's piss off let's piss off every Christian out there with the opening to the Olympics. It's basically what they did. And I don't get mad. So, I don't get mad at other people's stupidity, but I don't have to watch their stupidity,
And even in the opposite way, let's say it was, it wasn't trans stuff or that type of stuff. It wouldn't be appropriate if it was just women up there dancing like that, or shirts open and boobs hanging out and balls hanging out. If they were all straight, it would still be inappropriate. It's just, this is the theme that everything seems to be now, is just be degenerate.
I knew there was a reason why I shouldn't have watched that show. I'm so glad I didn't. I'd be mad.
I don't know. Did I say something wrong?
No.
You said it all wrong. No, you didn't say nothing wrong.
This fool's on mute again.
He's probably peeing off the porch. Let's be honest.
Like the simple. Remember in the '92 Olympics where the guy had the arrow and he shot it off across the stadium to light it? Just what's wrong with like just simple shit like that? I don't know.
Well, nothing's allowed to be just normal anymore. I mean, I
No,
think we've come to figure that out, that absolutely nothing is allowed to be normal. Everything has to be weird. Everything has to be just, I don't know. Everything's weird. We do have a Canadian Unfiltered, though. Appreciate you, brother, coming in here with $10 super chat. You can say something with that message too, buddy. You can always say something. But appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoy our silly topics. And like we said, we're no prudes here, and we don't care about, girls dancing around or doing any of that kind of things like that. And obviously we're here with Gutters, somebody named Gutters Pub. We're obviously no prude. LW, it's not either. And damn sure not Mr. Duggar.
I'll get naked in the heartbeat just to prove it.
Exactly. We're on a YouTube show at 1:00 in the morning. We're not producing a mass television event for the Olympics. It was a big difference.
Right. Yeah. And there's obviously, no children allowed to be watched this because it is marked for adults only, as is X. But yeah, we do appreciate it. Canadian Unfiltered. So here's a hot cheerleader for you just to prove it. Yeah, we appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. That's the thing that I don't think a lot of people don't understand, is that there's a time and a place for everything. And a lot of times a time and a place is not, the opening ceremonies of fucking Olympics. But
Or like the Thanksgiving Day parade in Houston. It's like, wait, what parade am I at again?
wait, I think somebody gave me some X last night, or some Molly. I ended up, where am I? I'm not at the right place anymore. Take me back to Kansas, damn it.
Yeah, where's the turkey float and the Mario Brothers float?
Snoopy.
Goddamn strip club running through the city at 8:00 in the morning.
Right, they traded in Mario, and they got Bert and Ernie coming through there now. Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy out there. That's kind of why I made this little clown background here for this thing. I think we might do these every now and then on Friday or Saturday nights, just for a little while, and talk about the craziness of the week. I think it's pretty fun. Because Lord knows, there's going to be a whole lot more craziness coming up. I mean, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
What do you, anybody have any idea what the October surprise? I mean, what's your guess? If you had to guess on the inevitable October surprise that always comes along, what do you think it is?
I think it's war. I think they're gonna let off some kind of big bomb. Whether it's a dirty bomb offshore,
yep,
or I don't know, could go down in Ukraine, but I think it's going to be more towards our hemisphere, maybe they'll knock out the internet, maybe they'll knock out the electricity. Who knows?
What do you think, Gutters? What are you leaning towards there?
Oh, something tells me it's gonna be war related anyway.
You think so?
I also think that all the protests and stuff will pick up more and more through October, because remember that's right before it's gonna get really, really cold, and so they're gonna they got to do all they can before it gets super cold, because they don't want to be out in that super cold weather. But they're gonna, I'm sure that's when statues will start coming down and shit will start getting burned up again. All that good,
Well, that's already starting. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
that's not okay. So there's another topic. All right. So LW, I don't want to take away from what you think is going to happen, but real quick, while this is on our mind, so why do they let these people just run rampant through like downtown DC and all that, and just go there and spray paint and, I mean, just cause all this ruckus and nonsense? Why don't you just tell these people not to do it? Like, make them not do it.
Well, they enjoy the chaos. Chaos pits Americans against each other. Ones that, like you said, why don't they stop it? And the other ones are like, well, America's a terrible place and racist, and that's what they want. And chaos benefits them because chaos keeps the focus off of them. They are the crooks, so they like chaos, constant chaos, because it keeps the focus off of them.
Well, and I mean, I understand they went out there and said, okay, it's within your right to burn an American flag, which I think you're an absolute asshole if you're burning the American flag. I'll just throw that out there just so anybody knows. And I'm not going to be, I think I heard Shizzy talking about this the other night too, and I'm kind of the same way. I'm not going to be the guy who's going to just like, if there's 1,000 people sitting there burning an American flag, I'm not going to walk in there like I'm some Billy Badass and, walk in there and grab it from the center of them and walk away, because of course you're going to get, you're liable to get killed or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but when they as soon as somebody's up there, okay, so if you want to bring your own American flag and burn it, then I guess that's within your rights. But as soon as you are up there taking down the American flag from the Capitol, then you're committing a crime right there in itself. So now you can't go with that thing as, it's their freedom to, riot, basically, is what they've given them, but the freedom to do that. And that's what pisses me off, is none of those really, it's not you can protest, you can do whatever you want, but you can do it without a can of spray paint and wrecking our beautiful cities and, what used to be beautiful cities.
It is kind of one of the things they say, though, is you have the right to burn the flag, but I also have a right to kick your ass for burning the flag. So
100%.
I think that's kind of, it's like I said, back in the day, there used to be a thing that citizens shamed other citizens, which was the reason that we didn't have all the bullshit that goes on today, because there was actually, citizens that gave a shit, and they would stand up and go, no, you ain't doing that shit here. And now nobody does that anymore. It's not like that at all anymore.
Well, and that's, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No. After you, sir.
I'm all for people, making their voices heard, but it's just a respect thing with the flag. It's, like the Colin Kaepernick and everything, I get it. Okay. If you want to do that, but to do it at a football game where the stadium is bringing out war veterans and the flags to support them and praise them on that day, for you to kneel is being an asshole. You can do this on your own time.
And you're getting paid to entertain.
Right. Yeah, just let the troops have their moment. You can do your thing on your own time, but I don't know. It's just a lack of respect.
Notice he ain't played a game of football anywhere.
It's just spoiled brats, in my opinion. They grew up with everything.
I agree.
And it's
just
a difference
spoiled
too.
little fucking brats.
this is what I was going to say there. It's the difference too, is we grew up in a different generation. It's not like, I mean, we're all 39, right? Isn't that what we've decided on?
Yeah, we're all 39.
Right. I think we've come to the conclusion that we're all 39 years old. And we all grew up in a different era where it was basically like, playground, school ground rules, You were able to say whatever the hell you wanted to say, but you better be able to face the consequences right there in your face. Not like, oh, I'm going to go follow you around and haunt you for the next, rest of your life. But right then and there, wham, bam, consequences, instant consequences for your actions. And I think those work a lot better in reality.
Yeah,
Right.
my dad used to call it, used to just straight up tell you that don't let your mouth write a check your ass can't cash. So, learning in life that everything's not given to you. You're not entitled to it. What I got, I worked for. What like most of these people, they get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. They go into the office and they're busy all day while you're sitting home getting welfare, and then want to bitch about we're not getting enough welfare, or it's just people are feeling so entitled. I've never seen such a conglomerate of people who think they're entitled to something.
Mhm.
Like them kids in them college, they think they're entitled for us to pay for their college education. That's an investment you got to work at, and once you earn that degree, that's why they call it earning a degree. Unless you got somebody slinging you money.
Well, you know what? One of the biggest like BS things about that as well is most of the people who that really is helping is rich people who already have. So you have $200,000 in student loans and a good job. Yeah, there's a whole lot of idiots out there with these degrees that are useless, and that is a fact too. And they just went to college just because everybody told them to go to college. But still,
Well,
made your bed, lie in it, I guess, so to speak. I mean, I don't hold it against anybody. Like if the government came out and said, "Hey, we're paying off your college education," I mean, you'd have to be an idiot to say, "No, you're not."
No, you're not, my God.
So
I will not take it.
Right. I don't hold it against anybody who would receive those payments, but I don't agree with those payments being put out. I think if there was any way to do anything like that, it would be like, hey, we're going to give every American $5,000 and wham, bam, like deal with it, do what you want. But you can't. There's so many people who didn't have the opportunity to go to college for whatever reason they didn't have, or maybe they didn't have the grades to go to college and couldn't throw a football or play baseball or, join the swim team or, whatever may be that they could get, or play an instrument or, whatever.
right.
So they didn't get to go. And now you have all these people who we're supposed to pay for people who I don't care if it's only 5, I don't care if it's only 10. And I know it's a lot more than that, but we're supposed to pay for a lawyer's I'm supposed to pay for a lawyer's student loans at this point? No, this ain't right. It's benefiting the rich people is who that's benefiting.
Well, right. And it's one big just scam in the first place. The reason their tuitions are so expensive is because the government came in and guaranteed the loans. So it took away the free market of these universities going against each other, where, competing in the market for people who can afford to go. So once the government guaranteed the loans, what are you going to do if you're at college? Well, if we can chase you down for the rest of your life to get this money and garnish your wages and all this stuff, well, fuck it, we'll charge you whatever we want to charge you.
Well, and you hear, this is the best part. Okay, you want the icing on top of the cake. Is you have all these professors and these college, oh, we're tenured, and all this stuff. And they're the ones who are teaching and indoctrinating these students to think like this. And they're all probably making $250,000, $300,000 a year now to tell these people this. Do you think they're going to take a fucking pay cut? No. The only way you can lower the cost of university, college, whatever you want to call it now, is to lower the cost of the overall overhead of the whole thing. You're going to have to pay these people less. So why don't we pay them less and then see maybe if they don't start teaching a little different tune?
Yeah, it was like Bernie, man. He had like 5 houses in a plane bigger than gutters. You know,
Oh
so
shit, that's a
I
big
mean,
plane.
that's a big plane.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Yeah.
You know, and he sold his plane when they started jacking at him about it. Well, now he's got, you know, over $1 million in his pocket just for selling the plane.
And this is Gutters right here walking to her jet. Gutters, and we do really thank you. Where are you right now? Aren't you in Tahiti tuning in? I think you're at your chalet in Tahiti
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is Gutters right here. If nobody knows, this is Gutters' second plane. We first, you know, we thought she only had this one. She actually has another as well. So, you know, don't let Gutters. We do not want to pay for Gutters student loans, is what I'm saying.
That's right. That's right.
He has an intercontinental jet too, you know. So.
That's right. Don't pay for my loans. Please.
We do not want to be paying for Gutters student loans. Yeah, I don't think it's fair for anybody to pay for anybody else's anything. I mean, I really don't. I think it's sickening what they've done with Social Security and where they've put it out there. I think I'm a very opinionated person. What's up, Johnny Smallpepper? But I'm a very opinionated person when it comes to these things.
Right. Well, my favorite is when they talk about, well, we got to raise the minimum wage because the dollar is worth less. But okay. So instead of tackling like any sane person, intelligent person would, well, why is the dollar becoming worth less and less? Shouldn't we fix that problem instead of just raising the minimum wage every 5 years? Wouldn't the problem be why is the value of the dollar? Do you know what I mean? Like there's nobody in charge makes any sense on their logic.
I was thinking to say, LW, you're talking too much sense to them people. They will not understand it.
YouTube's gonna shut us down.
This is what I want to know. Who the hell is going to pay me back for the time and effort it took me to get my gid?
It was hilarious to me. You know, so now they're replacing.
I'll be right back.
Now they're replacing like McDonald's workers and yeah, you know, different fast foods and things like that. They're replacing them with these kiosks, you know. So I went into this place. I won't say what town, but it was kind of a, you know, college townish area. And I won't put an exact thing on that. So I go into this place and there's lines at the kiosks. And I'm like, and I hate kiosks. I hate self-checkouts. Y'all have heard my opinion on that before. But I'm standing there and so I just walked up to the register and this young girl comes up to me and she's like, hey, can I help you? And we don't normally, I hate fast food. I hate to do it, but we were on the road and I was at a McDonald's, Ronnie Mac's, Mickey D's, whatever you want to call it. And I said, well, I want a number one. I hadn't had a Big Mac in probably over a year or so. And Mrs. Fools wanted some, I don't remember what, chicken sandwich or something. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? She said, okay, that'll be, you know, $30 basically or something, which was, you know, I'm like, oh, we could have gone to a fancy place.
You gotta be kidding me.
But yeah, it was way more expensive than I expected it to be. But that's not the point. Was I paid and that was that. And I sat back there and looked at these mindless people standing in line at the kiosks. I was like, what are you doing? I walked right to the place, walked up and ordered, had my food, and there was still people in the kiosks that hadn't even got their food yet, waiting to order. So, yeah.
That was a big brain move there. That's what that was.
Well, I mean, no, it's just probably the opposite is what they would call it. Somebody sitting there going, I don't know. I'm not going to try to learn how to work that goddamn machine. It's hard enough to
man.
No.
I don't work. What you'd happen is you recognize, hey, first off, I don't work for McDonald's. I'm gonna go give them my order, and that's all I got to do. I don't want to have to try to figure out a computer just to order food from them.
Well, I've found too, and I think you've heard me say this before, but self-checkout at Walmart. Anybody who's never heard me say this before, all you have to do is walk up to the self-checkout with a big-ass basket full of food, scan the first item, mess it up, scan it twice. And, excuse me, ma'am, sir, I need your help. And they got to come over there and delete that item. Then they walk away and do it again. I did it again. Need you to come back over here and help me.
Yeah, I never use that.
And
Oh,
then
I always use it.
by the third time you do that or whatever, they'll just come there and do it for you because they're so pissed off at you. And they'll just do it for you and bag your stuff for you and put it in the thing just like they would have to start with. I do that all the time. And Mrs. Fools gets so pissed off at me. And I'm like, I don't fucking work at Walmart. Nothing wrong with working at Walmart. I just don't. I work somewhere else. And I'm not going to Walmart, and spending my money to go back to work. So they're going to have to deal with that.
Well, not only that, all these stores have different systems on the little touchscreen. I'm not here to learn all your fucking systems. I mean, it's not,
oh, and heaven forbid you're asked to pick up a few pieces of, fruit or vegetables or some kind of shit like that on your way home. And you're up there and you put it, you're like, what do I do with this? And it's like, well, is it organic or non-organic?
Yes. Yes, you have to push the button. Yes.
Like, what's
you have
cheaper?
To push the button.
Is a cucumber or a goddamn okra or squash, or what's the cheapest one? Because I'm going to hit the button for whatever that is and set it on there, because at this point I'm just pissed off.
Well, nothing makes me more madder when I'm doing self-checkout and it will, the screen will come up and it'll say that the cashier needs to come and check my cart. For what? I'm taking shit out of the cart and I'm running it through the cash register. Why do I need to check why does she need to check the cart? The cashier, she still don't know why she needs to check the cart.
No, they have no idea. Now you're stuck for 20 more minutes. The best is after you've gone through all the freaking trouble in the world and you did do the self-checkout, then you get to the door and there's some, bless their heart type of person standing there checking you out when you're coming out the door, and they're like, excuse me, or however they want to say it. You need to say, and I'm like, yeah, fuck off. And then you're out there and you realize there's this person with this walker chasing you to the parking lot of Walmart. You're like, well, I'm starting to feel bad now, but fuck it, I am not stealing. Never stole anything. Well, actually, I stole one candy bar when I was a kid. My mom made me take it back to the manager.
I can probably say I have never used their self checkout, not one time.
Good for you, man. I only used it a few times. I got pissed off and I quit.
Yeah, I had a mini meltdown at one. Like when you scan the item and you put it in the bag in the little thing, and if it doesn't read it right, it's like, please place item in bag. Please place item in bag. And it just kept saying, it had like a glitch. This fucking computer kept saying that over and over again. And I started to get frustrated. I moved it around. I'm like, and I just screamed out.
You have to push down on it.
Yeah, I just screamed out, it's in the fucking bag. And everybody turned around. And my son was like, easy, big fella.
And he was probably teasing you. He's like, oh, Dad can't work the damn thing. And any of you people out there, I'm sure there's some young people out there that are like accusing us of being boomers or something. I mean, we're Generation X. So we'll be like the Xers. They'll make up some kind of weird name for us. But you know what? I might not be able to figure out how to check out and weigh the freaking cucumber at Walmart or whatever, but you could never change a set of brake drums. I guarantee it. So
Right.
we all, and I'm not even a fucking mechanic, but I could still figure that out.
Yeah, we've all seen the 20-year-old dudes out on the road who call AAA to put a damn donut on their tire.
Oh, I think we know some of those people.
I feel like if I do the checkout, it's like one less person that's touching my shit. So,
I'm not gonna name a name, but I know a certain somebody who graduated from a prestigious engineering school with a good. I hope you're listening, and I love you, brother. I'm just fucking with you, but with a good grade and good career and everything like that. And he got a nail in his tire at an event we were at, and was calling AAA in the middle of the night for having a nail in his tire, in a flat tire. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he had no idea what to do. And that was that. And I went out there I just went to the back of the pimp ride, opened it up, got a plug kit out, went over there with a set of pliers. Well, I made him do it, actually. I made him pull the nail out. and pulled a nail out of his tire. I grabbed a plug kit, glued it, plugged it, stuck it back in there, pumped his tire up, and said, "You'll be good for at least 250 miles." I talked to him recently, and he still ain't changed that shit. He's had to have driven 15,000 miles. And I'm like, well, you probably should. I told him, I was like, man,
that was a temporary fix, dude.
Well, most of the time they are forever. I mean, you'll wear your tire out before that plug will wear out. But at the same time, it's better to get it. I didn't want the responsibility. So I did speak with my YouTube lawyer, Mr. Duggar, and we made sure that everything was documented. So I did tell him, I was like, when I got home, man, I would get that checked. But he was like, oh, man, it's still good. I'm like, God damn, okay, good. Well, that's on you.
Well, all you can do is warn them and cover your ass. That's all. I don't know.
I guess so.
When I was young, that was our computers. That was our games. Everybody crowded around in my case, the 61 Ford Falcon, and figured out why it wasn't starting. And it was like, you never heard poor young guys holler as loud as when we finally cranked that bitch up, because that meant we could go fishing. We were turned loose. We had a driver's license. We just needed a car. Nothing like having a driver's license when you're young. Back when I was a kid. And not being able to drive. And these kids that don't want a secondhand car for their first car, or some big hoopty that it doesn't matter if somebody does hit a tree with it, or have a little side swipe something because you don't know how to drive right. I don't understand it, man.
I loved my first car. It's an '84 Impala, former police car. No paint, and the windows didn't work.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that sucker could haul ass.
I had you beat. I had a 61 Ford 2-door with blue jean interior with a 302 in it. It was just,
my mama had a Ford Falcon.
It was so fucking fast, dude. It was so light and so fast.
The funny thing though, you think about that, and you say that they were so fast. A lot of these old cars that we used to have and things like that, and you thought they handled so good and all that. You can get in a freaking Honda Accord now, that'll like smoke the doors off of it.
My Lincoln out would outrun that thumb, bitch.
Yeah, they make golf carts to go faster, 0 to 60s in these cars, some of them. But there was nothing like going and sitting down between something with, the big
they
V8.
don't sound the same.
And just that raw horsepower, just
it was a tire melting car.
The vibration.
Sorry. And they were huge. And gutters. There you go, gutters getting in there. But and they handled. I mean, really, you had to drive those goddamn cars. They handled so bad, like compared to what you have now. You'd go through curves and be like, "Holy cow!" You're just got the 3,000-pound car. Got around his car.
Yeah, fucking tanks, man.
Look at that. Esso says his first was a 72 LTD with a 460. So yeah, you've driven those too. That thing had to be la-ti-da with a 460.
I had a Galaxy with a 390 in it. It was just badass.
Was it 3-speed?
Yeah, GTO. I had a GTO. Had a Barracuda. The Barracuda was the cooler one. Had a little seat to turn sideways. Had that little bubble back window. And it was a fast son of a bitch too. But the GTO was scary.
Yeah.
My sister had a GTO. She wrecked it.
But it was beefed up quite a bit.
I need to get rich.
Three older brothers.
I need to get rich because when my mom and dad met, my dad had the 429 Cobra Jet Mustang, the Mach 1 with the 429, not the 428, but the 429. And he had a GTO and he had a van. Okay. A year later, he was driving a goddamn, like 74 Impala with living in apartments, raising me. So I've always wanted to get rich so I could buy him that Mach 1 with the 429 in it. That's my life goal, but it's like a $600,000 car now. So
Yeah, that was
that's my life goal. I'm working on it.
Marv had a Mustang, and I don't remember what year or any of that when he was young. That was his favorite car. I don't remember what it was though.
I remember we had it was passed around in the family. There's this old ass Toyota Corolla, and it would just be passed off to like my grandmother, to my mom, to my aunt, to my whoever. They put 575,000 miles on that thing, and I don't even think they changed anything under the hood the whole time they had it.
Them little Corolla, they'd run forever, bro.
Yeah.
Oil looking like fucking mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got an 88 four-wheel drive Toyota van out in my yard right now. And it's clean as snot, dude. It's clean.
Clean as snot.
It's clean. My boy done put some gorilla fur in it.
What's up, buddy? East Coast. Good to see you. Glad you found your way over here, man. As always, good to see you. I love you, buddy.
Please don't tell people to call Kathy this late at night. Thank you. Hey, TF. Don't call
Oh, good to
Kathy.
see you, buddy.
Nobody's going to call Kathy this late at night. Don't worry.
I remember the first car I had was an 86 and a half Nissan truck. Remember when it was the little hard body, and those things were fun, man. It was a cool little truck, and that was the first one
right now.
Yeah, my dad gave it to me. He had put probably 240,000 miles on it.
Too.
Oh yeah, I still see. Well, about 5 years ago, I used to still see it going down the road. And I drove that thing, finally got rid of it and got a Honda Accord. And that was like the dumbest thing I'd ever did, was trade that truck for a Honda Accord, because it was so cool when you only had a 2-seater with a 3-seater. I mean, you could fit you and 4 or 5 girls in there, but you could only fit you and your buddy in there and 1 or 2 girls. Well, there was none of that, like, oh, you're driving. So the next car I got rid of that and that was when I was actually, okay, I finally have a cool car. I got the 300ZX with the, T-tops and the whole 9 yards, put the stereo in it. That was super cool. It was an 84. We got the 84 300ZX. And that was cool. It was fun.
I had an older International Scout that drove. It was a mailman's truck, so it had a steering on the right-hand side. And dude, everybody wanted that car. That thing just run perfect. And finally, this guy come up to me with a Ford F-250 with a 460 in it, 4-wheel drive, and I needed one for the beach, so I traded him even Steven. And man, I started getting stuck out on the beach. I said, "Wait a minute, this is 4-wheel drive." I stuck that thing in 4-wheel drive, and then I had them big old Mickey Thompsons on there, let a little hair out of them. And I revved it up, and I popped that clutch out, and that sumbitch jumped up like a grasshopper and come up out of that hole. I said, "Well, this will work." You go down to the mouth of the river, 1 out of 10 times, you're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
Mouth of the Brazos down past Bryan Beach. You know where I'm talking about, LW.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Boy, that's a good fishing hole down there.
Have you done any fishing lately, Mr. Duggar?
I am going tomorrow. I was going to go today, but it rained on and off all day. I'm really thinking hard about going all the way down to some lakes down south, see if I can get in some blue cat, maybe a flathead, spend one night down there.
Hey, who got the gong?
Sorry about that.
Wait, where'd you get the gong? I mean, we've needed that gong so many times.
Oh,
Jeff
yeah.
Webster would have killed for that gong. Jeff Webster would have he would have killed if everyone. He used to always want to gong everybody if they came on the panel and they were like,
it was the best. In Mark Rogers, when Christopher Foote would go on and on and on. Sorry, I don't say his name. Well, somebody would go on and on. Jeff Webster would just be in the chat every 45 seconds. Gong.
Right. Yeah. Jeff loved it.
My really good friends when we were growing up, when we played Trivial Pursuit, they would always, if you didn't get the answer right, they'd literally start their whole gong, and just embarrass the hell right
Womp
out of you.
womp womp. Hey,
Yep. Oh,
look at the
fuck.
private chat in the StreamYard. Um, yeah, everybody knows about the Gong. The Gong Show. It was cool. Troy V says his favorite was a 78 F-150. Many great memories with that truck. Those are great. Was it like the single cab F-150s, the old school ones? I want one of those so bad. Like, if you get one, they're expensive. Find one in good. All right, LW, the gong's gotten, he's gonging me now. Jesus Christ. I just got gonged up and down,
You've
left
been
to right,
gonged.
every which way but gonged. That's no idea. But yeah, I love those old F-150s. That would be great to have.
I just sold a F-350 with a 460 in it, single cab. Man, that was a bad truck. That was an awesome truck. I should have kept.
I've got an E-250 and an E-350, but the vans and those damn things. I mean, they'll just go and knock on wood, but they'll just go and go and go, man.
Yeah. I tell you, it's. I wished I had some of the old cars I've had, man. I've had some old Cadillac convertibles. Datsun B210 was one of my favorite little cars.
Oh, those are cool. Yeah, that's a cool old car. I remember at one point I had 4 Z cars, and I was like,
first transmission I ever put in by myself. And of course, I forgot to fill up the differential.
oh no!
And just about to Houston, but I did get with a cool car out of it because when it was going down on the highway, it stopped right in front of a wrecking yard, and the guy had a '66 Cadillac there, 2-door, and I said, "Would you trade me?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, I didn't put any in it now. It's not totally out. He went and drove it and stuff like that. And he goes, "Yeah, that pressure plate's fine." I said, "Yeah, it's brand new. So's the whole transmission." I just didn't fill it up, And he said, "Well, that Cadillac's a running son of a gun, man." And sure enough, it was. And I made it back to New Mexico. And one of my buddies, who was a large, let's say, herbal grower at the time, he bought it off of me immediately.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, or thyme.
Yeah. My 37 Plymouth was probably my favorite.
Oh, damn. Oh, yeah. The old, my uncle bought one. It was like a 45 Dodge, not too. I mean, I say too long ago. You realize how years passed you by. Like, it was probably like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And we took that thing out, and it was, the three on the column. And he bought it down in Atlanta. He was going through in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was going through there and saw this thing, and he pulled into a gas station and was like, what is this? And the guy was like, "Man, it runs great, it blah, 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 blah." And he's like, "I'll give you," and I forget what it was, like $4,500 or something. It wasn't in great condition, And the dude was like, "I sold." So he threw it on, he had a trailer with him and threw it on the back. We went out there and started driving that thing. I mean, this is, of course, we didn't go through and be like, "Oh, let's make sure this is roadworthy." He got that thing back and it was like, "Oh, let's have fun." So I hadn't driven a 3-speed in a long time, so it was fun. We jumped in there. He drove it around, and there was 4 of us in the car. And I'm like, "All right, my turn. Give me that." So I jumped in there and started going. And I had that thing. I was just, whoa, the old Force. It was a 2-door. It was cool. The old, like, 45 2-door Dodge. Cool as hell car. I get going. I'm coming down. And I'm about to turn into his road together. I hit the brakes, and there's absolutely nothing. Like, there's no brakes whatsoever. And we're going into a road just going through a pasture. So I just whipped it in there, threw it down in second. I mean, I spun this donut down the whole fucking hill. It was fun as hell. We were laughing like crazy. It was good.
I had an Opal that didn't have an ounce of brake on it, man. And when it went out, I'd been driving it with the emergency brake because that was the only brake it had, And then it went out, and I had to go back and get it in the middle of the night because I didn't want to drive it in the daytime, too much traffic. So here I am coming down the road in that Opal, not a bit of brake on it, man. I had Freddie Flintstone brakes. That's the only brakes I had.
Mm-hmm. Stand on them.
And what happens, of course, you know what happened. The
Cable brakes.
No, the lights come on behind me.
Mm.
Cop was sitting on the side of the road, and I come by. I had a long stretch that I could, run it a little bit. And of course, I had to coast to a stop. And this is really pissing him off. He's wanting me to pull over and stop, but I couldn't stop. And when I finally come to a stop, and he said, "What's the matter? That thing ain't got no brakes." I said, "No, sir, not an ounce, not a drop." He said, "Well, that ain't safe." I said, "That's why I'm out here at 3:00 in the morning." And he said, "Well, you were doing about 50 when you come by." I said, "Well, it's about a 10, 12-mile stretch, And he said, "Oh, I see. He said, "What if something happened?" I said, "There's a side there. I could have hopped off." He said, "I'll just follow you home." I said, "All right. I'd appreciate that." He said, "You think we ought to hook a rope up to it?" And I said, "No, I'm pretty good at it, and it'll take a while." He said, "All right." But he followed me. That old cop took me all the way home. Followed me all the way home. Now, what would they do to you now about that?
I was just about to say that was the good old days when cops understood.
That's right.
Now you get some lady who's going to tase you about
Oh, yeah.
2 minutes into the stop.
That would have been an impounded car nowadays.
All right, Mr. Duggar, you're gonna love this. I had the same kind of story, but I had this. What the fuck was it? It was the Honda Accord. It was that stupid Honda Accord. I went out, and the CV joints went out on the front of it, and you couldn't go at this point.
Click, 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 click.
Oh yeah, we got to that thing where you're turning the wheel too far. And then finally, I was going on the road, and it was just like the whole left side goes out in this car. So same kind of thing. It was like, well, what are we gonna do? We can't get the thing now. And my buddy's like, well, let's just wait. We'll tow it back, So we go out there about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and do the same thing. And he hooks up. We're going down the road. And we get pulled over by the state patrol. And he's like, he pulls up and goes, "What the fuck is going on?" He walks up. He goes, "I pulled you over for speeding." And we were laughing because I was just on a chain behind this truck going down. He was probably running. I don't even know, but he laughed. He goes, "How much further y'all got to go?" And we were sober. There wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
He was like, "How much further you have to go?" And we're like, "Only a mile." And he's like, "I'm gonna follow you, but slow down. And to that point, imagine trying to get away with that now.
The cops used to follow my father-in-law home all the time from the bar. We just wanted to make sure he made it home all right, Norm.
Right.
Fucking and he'd drive 10 miles an hour all the way home. A mile outside of town. They'd follow him all the way.
Oh, Big Dog Ma's putting on her head now. She says, "Hot Rod Lincoln." Papa said, "Son, you're going to drive into drinking if you don't stop driving that Hot Rod Lincoln." Oh, yeah. Good old stuff back then.
I don't know, man. We had cars with trunks too back in the day. We called them 5-body trunks.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We all got in the show for $1.25. You know what I mean?
That's right. You could stick 2 where the spare tire was if they were small enough.
Yeah, that's why they had to start putting those glow-in-the-dark handles in the back, Every trunk you get into now has a glow-in-the-dark handle on it.
Well,
Mm-hmm. Every one of them. And, I mean, that's why, because people, kidnapping and
Jeff's
stuff like
girlfriends used to tell
Right, it's all my fault. It's all my fault.
Oh yeah, inside where you can release it.
Yeah, on the inside of there's an emergency handle that glows in the dark. I don't, so you better, I don't know how long that glow in the dark lasts. So, no, I'm kidding. We do not condone anything like that. That's just jokes. If you can't take a joke, you probably shouldn't be here because
that's right.
We
You
tell
just
some
go
pretty
now.
raunchy ones every now and then.
Every once in a while, we even piss people off. Trust me.
That's true, Mr. Duggar. That is true. I could play that warning here just to make it fun.
Maybe make it official.
We could make it official. Breaking news, guys. Breaking. Yes, exactly. And we like hot rod Lincolns. Now, there's tons of those fun stories. Like you talk about driving without a brakes. I had to go. I remember being so poor. I had that 300ZX, and I was, raising a kid at that point, and obviously you go buy a fancy sports car, and you know how that goes.
Right.
But so I remember having to go, and I needed like 3 weeks before I could get a the brake cylinder. The new, not the cylinder, what the hell do they call it under the hood? The main part with the brakes, Mr. Duggar. Yeah, I guess not the cylinder, but
Solenoid.
No, what the hell they call it?
Where you put the juice.
Right, exactly. Is it the cylinder? Brake cylinder?
Yeah,
No, that doesn't sound right.
It's not brake cylinder.
No, it's the
brake reservoir.
Yeah, it's not the reservoir. I'm talking about the whole thing that powers it all. So anyway, I needed one of those, and I needed like 2 or 3 weeks more getting to work. Well, the problem was I was commuting about 80, 90 miles over a mountain, mind you, to get to work, and I had nothing. Nothing but a master cylinder. Thank you, Big Dog Moth. Thank you so much, master cylinder. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't. Actually, I do know.
I had a brain fart.
Yeah, it's 2:37 in the morning, and I've had a few beers. That's probably why. But Big Dog Moth, you're exactly correct. I needed the money to go buy a master cylinder for this car, but I still had to get to work for like 3.5 weeks or so until I could budget that into having electricity and those things that come more important. I commuted that car with nothing but the e-brake back and forth like 90 miles a day over a mountain for almost a month.
Damn.
It was yeah.
That reminds me of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It was a 5-speed, so that made it a lot easier. Sports car 5-speed, a lot easier to drive. You can just pass people really easy if they slow down in front of you. That's
a lot of cars you wouldn't even be able to do that today because it'll shut down the computer and all that.
Exactly.
Stuff.
Yeah.
My friend had a Skyhawk car, a Skyhawk 2000, we called it, and it wouldn't go it would only go up to 3rd gear. So we would drive all the way to the dances that were like 45 miles away in 3rd gear at 35 miles an hour, 40 at the very most. It sounded like you were going to blow up. But yeah, and we drove that car like that for probably a good year, at least.
I tell you how the cool cops were. We had a guy named Bubba Danford, and that's his real name, Bubba Danford. He he took his car keys and his truck keys away from him because he'd drink a lot of beer. Then he'd get in the car and he'd drive over here and get some beer. All right. So we're sitting there at the gas station, and here comes this silly son of a bitch on a tractor, wide open. And old tractors run pretty fast with a string of cops behind him. He pulls in there, runs in there, grabs a beer and chugs it before the cops go in there and start beating him up and said, "You dumbass, I took your keys. You got a problem." Oh my God, that was hilarious.
There you go, Mr. Duggar. I'll take you back to that time. Here you go, right here. This is how anybody who's young out there listening, whether you're on X or on YouTube or wherever you are, this is how life kind of was when they started making us wear seatbelts.
Yeah.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be communist country.
We should have seen it coming, guys. We should have seen it coming.
We'd only seen that first.
My grandpa had a Dodge, like a Dodge van. It was like a cargo van, I guess. But the back was totally gutted out. It was just the 2 front seats. We'd go places all the time. All the kids were just sitting back in the back, Indian style. No seatbelt, no seats, no nothing. You go over to bump or kids are just tossing around in the back.
We had a friend that he would get drunk, and he didn't want to walk home, so he'd always drive home, but he'd have to hide his rig because the cops would know that he was drinking because he'd park his rig by the bar or whatever. So he'd have to hide his rig. And one night he hid his rig and he thought he made it. He was headed for home and he was doing good. And I mean, it's like a mile to his house. And he gets around the corner from his house and the cops pull him over and they're like, "Fred, what are you doing driving?" He said, "Well, I was too fucking drunk to walk." So they're like, "No, you can't drive no more, man. You got to walk." So they make him get out and walk. So he walks past his house, which was like 3 blocks away. He walks past his house, down to his brother's house, and grabs his brother's pickup and drives it up to his house because he refused to walk home. He told the cop the next day too, "I didn't fucking walk home. I told you I wasn't walking home."
Yeah, LW say that about getting in the back of car. You know,
Yeah.
we used to. I mean, we've always had cargo vans around here. You know, with film stuff and loading stuff and doing just different. Our family and I've always had one or two as well. And there's always been. We would always. Road trips. What are we taking? Well, we're taking the E350 cargo van.
Right.
Of course, like a road trip. Let's go. We'd go stop. We'd wake up in the morning, go to the first thrift store that we found and buy a love seat and ratchet strap those things down in the back of a cargo van. And if it was normally it wasn't that many people, but if there was one more, you'd buy the full couch. But you just ratchet strap that thing down in the back. And then we'd put like, you know, the TV up with the Mario Kart or whatever in the back and just throw that in a cargo van. Go on your trip. Come back. I mean, one time we got one, the springs were so bad in this thing. It was insane. I was like, I'm driving. I don't even want to sit on the thing because every bump people were bouncing up and down on this old couch. It was like the most horrible looking couch you ever saw in your life. But then we'd get back. And I mean, you'd pay like back then $10 for this couch, you know. Mm-hmm. We'd get back and unload everything, and the next morning go to the thrift store and donate it to the thrift store and give it back. It was
right.
Like, I don't want this damn thing, but I'm giving it back to you. And it just made a road trip.
Next trip.
Yeah, did it so many times. No, I mean, I grew up hanging out the back window of a station wagon. You know. Remember the back seats in the station wagon? We were talking about this the other night. You know, hanging out that. Whoa.
You remember those Jeep Wagoneers back in the 80s? Those ugly son of bitches?
Mm-hmm. With the wooden panel.
I remember one of the times we moved, one of the times from Alabama to Texas. You know, it was all packed kids, but the back, we had so many people in the car in the back with all the luggage and shit like that. I remember laying on the top of the luggage in the very, very back, you know? And, you know, 4 people to a row on the seat. It was just no seat belts. It was just crazy. Just sleeping on luggage.
Yeah, we reached down in between the seat and pulled out the seat belt. Daddy, look, there's a seat belt here. Here, put that thing back down in there for somebody gets hurt with it.
Right.
Yeah, when I was about 12, my sister and brother-in-law, they had 3 boys, and we lived in Idaho, and they took their 3 boys and me, and we all went for a family vacation all the way to Oklahoma from Idaho in a Plymouth car. I mean, it was a good-sized car. It was a boat, but yeah, all 6 of us. I'll never forget that trip. It took us, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days to get there. But yeah,
that's a nice. I remember going from the like South Miami to middle and nowhere Pennsylvania on many road trips in those station wagons. And oh my God, stopping at every, what were they called? Remember when cafeterias were everywhere? The Piccadillys and you know, blah, blah,
blah. Oh yeah, Piccadilly, Shoney's, all those fucking places. Yeah.
Well, Shoney's wasn't a cafeteria, but Piccadilly's was. Remember, and that's when all the post-World War II people, because they were just so used to that lifestyle of lining up, getting food, going to the things. That's why cafeterias got so big back then. And my grandfather had every single one of them. Morrison's was one of them as well. Had every one of them mapped out from South Miami to the other place in Pennsylvania where we had a place. So it would be like, oh my God. It was, yeah.
I've never had any problems with that 4.0 and that Jeep. I've seen them things with 200,000 and 300,000, 400,000 miles on them. But I don't know. You just had a bad one, I guess.
Mr. Duggar's talking about the chat. Homegrown Cowboys saying, to anybody who doesn't see the chat, Homegrown Cowboy is talking about the bad 4.0.
Yeah, them 4.0 straight cylinders are monster engines, man. They run forever. You just had a bad engine.
Wait, a bad engine? Wait. That's not politically correct.
Why is it not?
Well, they're Native Americans, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're off to a great ending here. Yeah, it is almost 2:47 over here on this sign. Thanks everybody over on the X side that is watching. Super cool. Everybody on YouTube as well. We're gonna wrap this thing up here in just a couple minutes, just because it's getting late.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
It really is, isn't it?
Well, it was fun. Appreciate you having us on.
Not late. It's only 10 to midnight, but whatever.
You live in fake time.
Right.
Okay. It happens in the United States. Time happens here before it happens there. So
Gutters, it's 12:48 where you're at.
It's 11:48 where I'm at.
You're
Yeah,
in
she's
Tommy
further.
land.
oh yeah, she's way over there. She's as far like into like that world you
Tommy,
could possibly be.
Yeah, I'm definitely behind enemy lines in Portland. That's for sure.
How is it up there? I mean, do you ever go to town or anything, or like
No.
you just like stay hidden in your house?
Yeah, well, I don't live in Portland, so we live out on the outskirts, so that makes it easier. I don't have to deal with it, but Marvin has to drive through Portland to get to the airport, so it's a nightmare. I mean, he hates it, but
Does
you
he
know,
ever just like get tired on the way home and have to say, well, I just had to stop off at a random autonomous zone and catch some
Chaz.
extra Z's? Yeah, Chaz, has he ever like spent the night at Chaz halfway home? Or
no, that would be actually the Chaz is in Seattle. We're in Portland, but
Seattle,
no,
Portland, same difference.
well, pretty much, you're right. But yeah, no, he has had to get stopped a couple times on the freeway. I mean, from their protesting, all of a sudden there's a bunch of people on the
people
freeway
on
and
the
you can't-
road. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
you can't go. It's like, I mean,
What do
and
you
he
do
only-
there?
Well,
I've-
especially when you're only driving a little tiny Geo Metro. I mean, they can pick your
Oh,
car
geez.
up and chuck it
What
over
year?
the
What
bridge.
year? That's got to be old.
90. Well, he had a 91.
Oh my God, those were awesome. Those things
Yeah.
got 53 miles to the gallon. I had a friend of mine, we used to take
Yeah.
that thing off-roading. It would go anywhere. The stupid
Right.
You're
little car.
exactly right.
3-cylinder,
Yep.
3-cylinder car.
He loved it. He could park it. You know how like people will be like, well, there's no parking spots. And then you see like an island or whatever. Marv could he'd park the Geo on them islands. He's like, fuck that. There's a parking spot right here on this island. It'll work just right.
We used to do that. We used to do that to a friend of mine that had one of those, and another friend of mine had a Volkswagen Bug. And they would fit perfectly between the picnic tables that were, the big wooden, like the posts that would come out of the ground to keep people from parking in high school.
Oh, yeah.
In the into the parking lot, but there were the picnic tables out there. We could pick those cars up, and because we'd come out of gym class PE, and we'd pick their cars up and put them right between the picnic tables and leave them.
Marvin,
It'd be so bad.
when the boys were in football, they'd pick up his car and move it. Just pick it
exactly.
up, tow it out, just move it right
You
out
just
of the
pick it up and
driveway.
carry it where
Yeah.
you wanted to go and set it down
Yeah.
right between two. So they could get out because a couple of those posts were so worn out, people could pull them out. But it would be like a 700-point turn, like you would have to and finally get out.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
my brother bought 2 Yugos. because they were having like buy two for $7,000 sale, super sale. He bought 2 Yugos, and we finally figured out why they put the heating lines on the back windshield, which was a faulty place to put them. That was to keep your hands warm when you was pushing them.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who thought it was a good idea to buy a car made in Yugoslavia, and it was like, hey, we've got a great idea. We've got these Yugoslavian cars coming at you. We're going to call them a Yugo.
Didn't that seem like a great idea?
A friend of mine had one of those, and what we would always do would be like, all right, we're all going to this place. Let's everybody follow each other. As soon as we started going up on a hill, we'd all slow down. And then we'd all speed back up, and you'd watch his ass go boop, 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 boop. He'd be so mad because he couldn't climb the hills.
Yeah, exactly. My
When
second.
we bought our
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Gutters.
when we bought our RV, we bought a Geo tracker to tow behind it for $2,500. And so I'm telling you what, I don't know that we're gonna get it away from my son because he's like, no, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take it hunting. He's already bought a hard top for it and all kinds of shit, man. He's decking it all out. He's ready
Those
to take it hunting.
Jeepers were awesome.
Yeah.
Those
he's really
Suzuki's
excited.
are pretty badass. too.
Same thing, basically. They
They
were
are.
these
Yeah,
teeny
they
little.
were.
The wheelbase is so close
Chevy
together.
Tracker.
Yeah, you can go anywhere in the world. And you know what? People will go out and they'll spend 10 grand on some new side by side thing. You can go find a Geo tracker for probably, well, they're
Yep.
probably more expensive now because people are catching on.
They are way expensive.
Yeah, you could probably back then you could have bought one. Yeah, $1,500, $2,500. You
Yeah,
got a
now
Geo tracker that you can take
500 to
anywhere,
5,000. Yep.
anywhere you want to go.
Yep. But you can find some pretty cute ones still, or some pretty nice ones still, where you could take them. I mean, you can take them out in the sand dunes if you put
Yeah.
different tires on them and soup them up a little bit. I mean,
Hey, if you're rich enough and go to Saudi Arabia, you
Yeah.
can take a fucking Ferrari, or go to Dubai. You can take a Ferrari in the sand dunes. You know.
Not Dubai.
well, we have sand dunes here, and they're
All right.
super fun to
I
play
like
on.
your cup. I like your cup, Gutters.
Thank you very much.
You know, you can find that cup, Mr. Duggars, on topqualityshirts.com, the best place on all the internet to get any merchandise for your loved one. Christmas is coming up, so make sure you go over there and check out. Nothing in the world your beautiful wife or husband would love more than a hot Tua 24 shirt. I think there is shirts. They might be a little bit. They're all they're all white.
there will be.
Yeah, they come with a gallon of water, and they're all very thin. So make sure you do.
And a towel.
Yeah, we won't ask what that's for. Oh my God! So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this thing up in a minute, and I'm gonna drop a link to where everybody goes over there to Harley Davidson, goes over there and hangs out. But before we go, Gutters, I know you got a lot of stuff going on these interwebs and stuff like that. What do you got coming up this week?
Well, this week we just got the norm. Well, actually, I'm done with the week for now. But come Tuesday, of course, we'll have our show at 9:00 at night, real time. I mean, 5:00 at night.
Be clear with these people. Be clear with these
Pacific
people.
Standard. Yes, 5:00 Pacific Standard Time.
So it's 8:00 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Gutters Pub. Can anybody drop that link in there? I've got another link I'm trying to drop. If anybody is a mod there that could drop the link to Gutters Pub, please drop that in the YouTube chat right there. Sorry, Gutters, didn't mean to interrupt you, but
That's
just
okay.
making that
No,
clear.
no.
Go on, please.
And then also on Fridays, we do Coffee Club in the morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard, noon Eastern. And then in the evening on I'll get it right, West Virginia College Football Channel, we have trivia that we do at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard or 9 p.m. Eastern.
And that's on Friday nights. now,
And that's
right?
on Friday nights. Yes.
There you
moved
go.
From Monday nights. Yep.
All right. Over there on
Thank
the
you,
Voice
Troy.
of College Football's West Virginia channel, and Gutters Pub is the other channel. So I think
Yes.
somebody's dropping that in there, right?
Yep.
All right.
Let's see. Troy just
Yep.
dropped
Thanks. All
my-
right. Troy V just dropped the link to Gutters. If you are not subbed there, make sure you do. That's over on the YouTube side. Gutters, do you have a Twitter? Do you have an X? Whatever you want to call it.
I do have a Twitter and I have a Twitter /X, and it's just Gutters Pub, so easy to find.
At Gutters Pub. So anybody who's on X, go over there and sub up at Gutters Pub, and you'll find the lovely Miss Gutters there. What about you, Mr. Duggar? You got anything coming up?
Hey, dude, I'm out there praying every day for our country and trying to keep abreast of what's going on out there. A lot of times they're lying to us.
Did you say a breast?
Well, okay, a titty. About
All right, cool. All right, we got you.
that better. Yeah, I kind of pray for all our troops and our first responders and our vets. Guys, if y'all got a vet in your life, y'all take care of them. Make sure and let them know that you appreciate what they've done for you. Look out after them because most of them are getting old and a lot of them are crazy, but they went through a lot of crazy. So support your vets and your local troops. And just remember one thing, Mr. Duggar does love everybody. But I really want to get Nate a date. I want to do that.
I'm not hosting the Get Nate a Date show, so I'm not having anything to do with this. This is
Gutters.
not, you're
I
not going
didn't
to.
say he had to, did I?
Yeah.
No, you see how he just dumped a friend like that.
I didn't dump a friend. And I
Brother.
thank you for your service too, sir. So
And I don't. And when I'm talking about date, I'm not talking about a hookup. I'm talking about finding him a good girl. He need him a Mormon girl or something, you know.
It can be hard to find.
Yeah, I wish he could find one like him. That he's such a sweetheart and good.
I love Nate. Nate's
Good
awesome,
heart.
man.
And he needs
Nate
a
the
good
Great's
woman.
beautiful.
He don't
He's a
need
good guy.
trash. He needs a good woman. And
Yeah.
LW, you're my hero still. So good to see you, little bubs and gutters. Bulls drop out and people in X. Oh man, y'all are astounding audience. Thank you for joining us tonight and everybody in our regular chat. Hey, you know where my loyalties lie with the people who love us. We love you. Y'all take care of your little bitty selves.
There we go. Love you too, Mr. Duggar. Love you even more. LW, how about you, sir? You got any last words to say to all these beautiful people out there?
Oh, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for having us on. I had a good time. It was fun to have a couple laughs and good to talk to everybody.
Yeah, there we go. Man, a few words, but I love the words.
Well, I wish. I don't have a YouTube to promote, so
I know
that's all
you
I
don't.
can say. Nobody wants to see me ramble on Twitter. I'll tell you that.
Well, I do. I
like
even
you on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Gutters,
you
Gutters
do have,
doesn't know how to use Twitter. I don't. Think.
LW Gutters has no idea how to use Twitter. LW, what is your Twitter at? Come on,
It's pretty simple. It's LW1407.
You guys say I
LW.
don't know how to use Twitter, but
Oh, now
neither of
she's
you.
getting on. Gutters. We'll never accuse you of not knowing how to do the dishes. So please don't get offended by our Twitter. You know, I mean, everybody will catch up in technology eventually.
So is the Twitter you got? Is that your LW?
What's that, sir?
So is your Twitter? Is that a Twitter account or is that an X account now?
Well, same thing. I guess X. Yeah, I still call it Twitter. I've never changed to calling it
LW
X.
1480.
1407.
1407. Good job.
I know. Can you change that to like something easier to find? Or
Yeah, I'll get on it just for you, buddy.
all right, cool. Thanks a lot. Because I need to find you again. I need to find you again. Well, yeah. So it's LW at what?
It's just LW 1407.
See, I got you confused now too. You don't even know how to fucking do it.
He don't know how to use X any better.
I know.
After this show, I wish I was on X.
You are on X. That's the point. Right now, you're on X out there. I think there's quite a few people on X watching this right now, and we thank all of you. So yeah.
And always remember, TF can be bought. So if you get a chance, throw him a little side money to help his show. He gives a ton of good equipment away to help fellow YouTubers and people out there aspiring to get their voice out there. Y'all take care of him. He'll take care of you.
Love you, Mr. Duggar. And anybody out there listening, we will be doing, hey, there's a very good possibility we will be live again tomorrow night, probably be a little bit late. Tonight, I got to get to bed. I'm going to pop over here and go to Harley Dad's. I'm going to drop that link here in a second. Everybody can go over there. But make sure, please, everybody does tune in Sunday night because we have our regularly scheduled programming coming back up this Sunday night with trivia night, giving away all kinds of cool prizes, lots of fun trivia, and all those things that'll be there. So it'll be streaming on X and streaming on YouTube. So I do hope everybody takes the time. 10:35, because we always said 10:30. We're always late 5 minutes. So it'll probably start at 10:40. That's the kind of people that we are at this point. But we will be giving away cool stuff, cool trivia, cool fun. Always a good time. Always a lot of laughs. And if you are on X at Travel and Fish, if you're not already subscribed, I don't know how you found me, but either way, at Travel and Fish on X. Anybody else got any last words other than thanks to everybody for being here? We really do love you. I'm dropping this link right now. Harley Dad raid right there. Harley Dad. If you see this YouTube link right here, please go over there and go to Harley Dad's right now. Go over there and tell them all that we love him. And I'll probably pop into his stream for a moment as well. Anybody else got any last words?
I do. LW and TF are now going to teach Getter how to run Twitter.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
For you, we'll call it Twitter.
Twitter.
There we go. And on that
Top
note,
two.
we will all let you know that we will always, thanks for coming into our clown show on a impromptu Friday night. Love everybody.
Thanks for having us.
See you later. Alligator.